Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, another day.
Another dollar.
Another dollar. More like pennies with us. But
hell yeah.
We here, bro. We here for the content. We here for the people. We are here for you guys. And we're here for draft season, of course. All right. Look, you guys have been enjoying the draft content like you guys always do every single year. We appreciate all the views, all the likes. Anyone has ever left a comment on one of these videos.
Not everyone, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
You know what? I got something to say, bro.
Okay.
How much do you hate when we put out a video? And I mean, look, shout out to the people we know personally because those are some of our biggest supporters, right? But if you guys know us personally and you guys have any type of comment or something to say about it, put it in the comment section. Don't text us about it. Put it in the comment section. Am I right?
Oh yeah. No,
Am I right?
You're right. Yeah, no. I got some text.
Yeah.
I got some text.
Look, don't text us. Put it in the comments. Let's show it out to the world.
I thought you were going to talk about the guy who said we hate Shador because
no.
I was like, he's only above every white guy.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
That's a regular thing. But look, I appreciate you guys rocking with it. I just had to call y'all out, man. All right.
You got names? Man, he's gonna be okay with that.
Joey.
Oh, I know.
Number one suspect. You already know.
Joey is the number one highlight scouter I've ever seen. Joey's out there. That's why we can't have him on anymore.
I know, but like people, I mean, comment it down, bro.
But he has no accounts. He can't. He's a ghost.
He has an account.
Yeah, I know.
He has an account.
He got a Smurf.
Oh my goodness. All right, look, today we are doing running backs. One of the most talented classes in this draft. It is stacked to the gills. It's amazing, bro. It's one of the best running back classes that me and you have ever evaluated since we've been doing this.
It's the deepest.
Yeah, it's the deepest too. This draft, Max, is just a big representation of just like solid players through in and throughout. Like you get to about the 9th running back and you're like, you know what? He's not a first rounder, but my goodness, is the drop off that much from the second or first guy? And usually it's not like that. In years past, it's like the difference between 1 and 9 is massive.
Well, yeah, even in other positions, like let's just say tight ends, right? Yeah. The drop off from 1 to 3, or sorry, 1 and 2 is not that much. But when you get into that 1 to 3 range, you're like, oh God. Like,
yeah, well, that position.
But that's what I'm saying. But in years past, we've had running back classes where it was Bijan and Gibbs, and then it was like huge drop off, and it's like third rounders. Now it's like, I really think there's like 10 guys who could go in. I feel like there's 10 running backs who could be taken on the first 2 rounds.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, first, second, two, and 3. Yeah.
Well, look, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like this video. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. Let's get it started, man. Look, I think right off bat, the way that we're going to be doing these videos, we're going to start our rankings off, okay? Just to start off the video. These are my rankings, okay? I got Ashton Jeanty 1, Omarion Hampton 2, Judkins, I don't even know how to say his last name. Judkins. Yeah. Number 3, Treyveon Henderson 4, Skattebo 5, Tuten, I don't know. The names in this draft are hard to say. Kaleb Johnson, there's an easy one, 7. Damien Martinez out of Miami at 8. Trevor Etienne, who is indeed Travis Etienne's brother out of Georgia. And 10, Woody Marks. Max, let's see your list. How's it looking?
The first 2 are the same. Ashton Jeanty 1, Omarion Hampton 2, 3, Treyveon Henderson, 4, Quinshon Judkins, 5, Kaleb Johnson, 6, Dylan Sampson, 7, Skattebo, 8, Bhayshul Tuten, 9, Trevor Etienne, 10, Devin Neal, 11, RJ Harvey. I just want to start shout out RJ Harvey because I talked a big game with you about putting him at 10.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, he just missed the cut.
Yeah, once we get into the after the 10 part, once we get into
we'll get
11,
some honorable mentions for sure.
Yeah, we have we ranked what?
19. We have 20 running backs basically.
Yeah,
there's
basically
19.
Basically about 20 running backs for this class we evaluated. So we got 1 through 20. We'll show you guys 1 through 15 basically. Let's wait until we get into that part. Let's get into the meat and potatoes though of this at 1 and 2. Let's start off with Ashton Jeanty. He's our consensus number 1 running back. Max, what did you see out of Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State?
The film The regular film is like a highlight tape. There's not very the things you don't like are all nitpicks in my opinion. Even the things I don't like is a nitpick. What I saw, really good speed, good ability to make cuts, jump cuts. His vision is really good. He's short, but man, he's not built like a skinny guy. He's like built like a brick shithouse. The contact balance is arguably the best I've ever scouted. It is the best. He will force the issue. He's just like, I'm gonna go here and you're gonna have to tackle me. He's a workhorse. He seems to get stronger the more carries he gets. He's not afraid to pick up blitzes. Violent runner. Breaks a lot of, the most broken tackles in a college season ever. Now, the nitpicks. The Penn State game was rough, but I think Boise State was just outclassed. And there's one big issue is ball security. He does fumble from time to time. But that's partly, it's like he's working so hard. I've got to break every tackle. I need every yard I can get. And they're just digging at the ball, right?
Yeah.
So he'll learn. I think that issue will be cleaned up. There is one big con. He doesn't make a lot of people miss. And that scares me, not because he's not good. It's because how many car crashes are we going to get into? That's what scares me. And I don't know, you're going to argue with me. He breaks tackles. You can check my grade. It's high. Mm-hmm. But Juan, do you see him make people miss?
I do.
And there's a difference. I'm sorry. I just want to put one more thing. There's a difference between, I juked somebody out in the open field, or I just ran somebody over. Or someone tackled me and he just couldn't get me down. That's my thing. That's my criticism.
I would say this. I get what you're saying. Because we talked before these, we get a good little gauge on what we're thinking while we're evaluating. And you told me that. That was the first thing you told me. Ashton Jeanty, do you think he makes guys miss? Because I don't think he does. And I was like,
well, no, you immediately were like, you're crazy. And I was like, no. I say he breaks tackles, but does he make people miss?
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh.
In the open field, he doesn't make guys miss. Like the Barry Sanders, gonna shake Jameer a guy Gibbs. Up. Yeah, dead leg someone. No, he does not. Not completely, though. I've seen him do it, but not all the time. Part of the reason he didn't have to. Why would you when you have that strength to break tackles?
That's like 9 times out of 10, he's like, okay, see a safety. I'm just going to run through you.
Right.
But my point for being worried by that is, we're going to be okay in 2 years, 4 years, 5,
I mean, that's the thing with running backs in general. You always got to look at the lifespan of these guys. Regardless.
Got a lot of touches.
Yeah, and this is going to come up because this is not a guy that's getting talked about in the second round, like a Derrick Henry back in the day. We're talking about this guy being a top 10 pick and possibly even a top 5.
Let me beat that. It's not happening. And that's not indicative of the player. That's indicative of the position. If some team takes this guy in the top 10, you're stupid. You're stupid. I've been hearing a lot of people say this. Do you want your running back to go on a crap team? Or do you want to make the most out of his carries? That's the thing you got to do. Get him somewhere outside the top 10 on a good little team. Like, imagine he goes to the Broncos. You're like, oh my God. But if he gets drafted by the Browns, what happens, Juan? It doesn't matter. You can have Saquon Barkley behind the world's worst O-line. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's my point. And again, when we do our big board, I'm sure he'll be a top 10 talent. He's not a top 10 pick. And that's only because of position. And we have to fight that narrative because you're going to be happy the Raiders take him at 6? You're going to be like, oh, yeah, definitely. Let's get a running back. You just said, the guy's at 9. I'm not like, ooh, this is so bad.
Mm. Yeah. Look, my whole thing is...
I'm a hater.
No, you're not a hater.
I just know. I already know the comments are going to go for it.
Look, first of all, I just want to say, talking about him as the prospect, just reiterate, absolute finisher. He gives me Marshawn Lynch vibes. That's who popped out on the tape for me.
Yeah.
And this guy's pody, pause, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you saw the picture, right?
Yes, it's absolute. He's shredded.
Yeah, built like a brick shit house.
And his legs, he got the Quadzilla AJ Dillon type quads and legs, man. He is thick all the way. So he's not one of these guys where it's speed. It's crazy.
He's got good speed, but it's not.
It's more of agility, and that's where I come from. I seen Saquon Barkley type agility in the line of scrimmage. Saquon Barkley has this very good jump cut to him where he doesn't lose any speed. He can stop on a dime and accelerate to the hole. That's what Ashton Jeanty
I think he's
has.
got good acceleration for
and
sure.
I think that's what teams look at, and that's what makes him special as far as oh my God, this guy's a freak athlete. Like it's insane. And I wouldn't say he's crazy like, breakaway speed, but he has enough juice.
What do you gauge his 40 at if you were going to just put a number?
I'll say a 4.4.
Yeah, I said 4.45 to 4.5, somewhere in there. He's not a burner like Gibbs.
No, he's not a burner.
Yeah.
No, definitely
You think
not.
he's faster than Bijan Robinson?
I think he's almost the same speed.
I think he's a little faster, a little more twitchy.
Yeah. Bijan didn't have this type of power.
No.
Yeah, Jeanty just has a generational type power.
I said my player comp is some Josh Jacobs mixed with Marshawn Lynch mixed with like Darren Sproles bite size. It's like crazy.
It's so weird because he's built like Doug Martin, right?
Yeah.
That's
a great
build.
one.
Yeah, that's the build. And then he has the agility of an LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. That's how much praise. And he has the power and running style once he gets banging of Marshawn Lynch. That's what literally I put. I put LT mixed with Marshawn and Doug Martin's body.
So would you say there's some Zeke Elliott in him coming out, like with the power, like the where defense is down type thing?
No, I think it's more
different?
Marshawn. I think it's a little bit different. I think Zeke is more like he was always falling forward, and that was more of his game. I don't think he had as much power as Jeanty and Marshawn. I think it's just a different vibe. Now, going into the value of the pick, like you were talking about, I do think he is a top 10 pick at 10. I think there's only one team that's able to have this luxury and pick him, and it's the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
That's the one team. Every other team before that, really the Raiders, like, it's depending on what you got. You got to look yourself in the mirror. We're not there in the building every day. I'm just going to tell you from the outside looking in, from a diehard Raider fan, I don't think we have it to support him. I think we have a long ways to go. Would it be nice to have him? Would it be trash like Saquon as far as
I think it'd be a little better.
I think it'll be a little bit better, but I do think you're reaching at that point, And if you think this guy's a generational guy, like a Derrick Henry, pick him. Okay. I get it. Like you feel a little bit more highly about the offensive line than I do. Knock yourself out. Okay, it wouldn't be that crazy. I wouldn't lose my mind over it. Now, if you say Cleveland picked them, like a team that's a little bit more behind the eight ball, that I feel like from the Raiders,
yeah, no, it's
a waste. It's a waste.
I want to talk about one more thing before we move on. His receiving ability is way better than it shows on film. If you go back to 2023, he had like 600 yards receiving. Yeah, he's there. He can do it. Yeah. I like him. First round pick.
I want to say this as far as another 2 more points on the whole top 10 thing. So a lot of people don't know, when you pick a guy in the top 10, those salaries are already sealed into place. So it doesn't matter if you're running back, it doesn't matter if you're a kicker. If you pick a guy in the top 10, Max.
Well, any position.
No.
Are you talking about
in the top 10, it's different. In the top 10, you get a set salary. Now, the set salaries are like that regardless, but they still go based off position. So if you pick a running back at 11, the difference between 10 and 11, it's a different salary, not just because of the pick. That's something I found out recently.
Oh, no.
So that's even more of a reason why that you should get your value, because you're picking up a position that, 1, is a running back, and 2, you're going to be paying them more money for a top 10 pick. And it's not a position value. Like it kind of doesn't really make sense. So that's why, like, Chicago, it is in a tough fucking place, because, like, maybe we can get this guy at like 12 or 13 just to save some money, And then another point, this running back class is stacked.
Yeah, like you said.
You can get a guy pretty close to Jeanty with Omarion Hampton, Henderson, Skattebo, Tuten, Kaleb Johnson, whatever. You can find a way in the 3rd, 2nd round, and as deep as like the 7th round. There's going to be some 7th round guys and a lot of undrafted free agents that are going to show up. And a lot of fantasy guys are going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? He's going to burst onto the scene. That's how deep the running back class is. So when you're talking about value, it's hard to argue. It really is. It depends on what team's going to pick them. And to me, like I said, Chicago, get them. I think they have the best case scenario. Got a quarterback. They got to improve offensive line.
Yeah.
They got a new head coach.
Ben Johnson loves to run the ball.
Ben Johnson loves to run the ball. And once upon a time, a couple years ago, everyone was shocked about the Jahmyr Gibbs pick.
We were.
No one cares. No one even talks about.
Well, we were wrong. Yeah.
We were all wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't speak of to a single person that thought that pick was great. Nobody.
Yeah.
Maybe a Lions fan.
Yeah, no.
But we were wrong, and nobody gives a fuck about it no more.
Correct.
Okay, so Chicago pick Ashton Jeanty. Let's show our grades for Ashton. I had him as a 90.5 top 15 pick, and Max had him as a 89. So very close. He has him as a top 15 pick. We value guys a little bit different, but he's a beast, bro.
This isn't the talent level. This is where I expect him to get picked, because where your talent is and where you get picked are two different things.
Yes. All right. So let's get into number 2. Let's move to Omarion Hampton, who there was times, Max, when I was watching the film on Omarion, I really did wanted to put him 1.
I agree with you. Yeah. There's a argument to say his size and frame will transfer over more, and he'll be able to take more wear and tear.
Mm-hmm. He has a little bit more carries than Ashton Jeanty. So I did everyone's career carries in college. Jeanty had 601. He has 622. I feel like anything over 600 is a lot of carries. I put him in.
I would say it'd be interesting to know how many carries they had this year, because Jeanty had like 1 million.
Yeah.
I think 400 of Jeanty's were like this year,
right,
which is like a lot of workload.
Exactly. Okay, so Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina ran a 4.46. He's 6 foot, 221 pounds. Max, what did you see out of Hampton out of North Carolina?
He's your bell cow. He's great size, great frame for a heavy workload. He's strong. He just breaks tackles. Legs keep going. Even when he gets tackled, it's like, I'm going to fall forward for 2 or 3 yards. Ripped off a lot of long runs, 40 to 60-yard runs. There's definitely that 4.46. He trained his ass off because he's not that fast. He's a 4.5 guy in my mind. And that's not nothing bad. He's just not going to get a lot of 80-yard touchdowns. He's going to get caught. And that's something that popped up on tape. He has good hands for a player. He's going to be on the field all 3 downs. And I honestly would say, for my money, I think he punishes defenses more than Ashton Jeanty.
He's a violent runner.
That's what I said. Yeah. It was just like,
he's violent.
Yeah. To me, this guy looked like David Montgomery at times, but even like worse, because he's bigger than David Montgomery.
Yeah. I put, he always falls forward. Great contact balance.
Oh yeah. Very good.
I love it. It was to the point where, I had it added to our MJC grading system, and I was like, Max, we got to add contact balance, because watching Omarion Hampton, like, that's one of the best things that I loved about him. He always falls forward. His start and stop speed ability is amazing. The one thing that he is lacking is sometimes he looks for too much contact. And I feel like he has the athletic ability to just juke someone out of their shoes, and take it to the house. And this is why my comp to him, Josh Jacobs.
Oh, wow.
Josh Jacobs
He's
with more
bigger.
juice.
Bigger than Josh Jacobs.
And I think he has more juice than Josh Jacobs. But Josh Jacobs, great contact balance. He's a violent runner. He can catch the ball. He can take it to the house. Like, Josh Jacobs as a pro right now, he's Omarion Hampton.
Yeah, I would
not
agree.
Coming out, everyone had questions about his 40, and like,
he didn't get a lot of touches in Bama.
Can he shake guys like that? Josh Jacobs can shake guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a couple like little nitpicky things. Like, he's not great in picking up blitzes. He has to like kind of build up speed. Like, that's what I kind of talked about, where it's not just like I can stick my foot in the ground, I'm top speed.
Right.
But he's a bowling ball. What is he? He's like 6 feet tall, 225.
Yeah.
Built
221, 6 foot.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah,
and I would bet he plays heavier than that. He probably lost a little weight to run the 40 fast. He's a big freaking dude. Any team would be lucky to have him. Late round 1, I put round 1, 20 to 40 is the range for me. He's a good player. Honestly, he's in the same tier as Jeanty to me.
I put Jeanty in another tier. It's very close though. I feel like Jeanty has that generational type thing to him.
Yeah, I guess I would say Jeanty, if he's like hitting on all cylinders, could be the best running back in the league. I don't think Hampton could. He could be one of the 5 best running backs.
Right. Yeah. And I think Chicago, if Jeanty gets picked by the Raiders, you trade down and you pick Omarion Hampton. I think that's a great fit for him. I think New England, the same thing. Let's say they don't like Travis Hunter. let's say they're not a big fan of him, and he's there at 4, and they're like, should we pick Travis? We don't really like him. Should we pick Will Campbell?
Yeah, we don't like these tackles.
Yeah, let's trade down and let's get a guy in Omarion Hampton. We can't get a receiver because we got Stephon Diggs, and we don't like none of the receivers. Let's get ourselves a violent running back, which Vrabel loves. Vrabel loves to run the football.
They already have one of those guys, but this guy's got a ceiling Ramondre Stevenson doesn't have.
Ramondre is just he's capped out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's capped out.
Ramondre is a 1 to 2 down player. This guy can play all 3 downs.
Yeah. Let's look at Hampton's grade that we had. My grade for him, I had a late first round pick, 84.5. Max, what was your grade?
I can't remember my hand.
It's 85.
85. Yeah, same thing. There's a little bit. There's obviously some things that aren't as good as Jeanty, but into my mind, he's the same tier of player. I'd rather have him at 25 than Jeanty at 5.
And it was really close with Hampton, man. I wanted to put him in his own tier to these compared to these next guys.
I think. I mean, obviously the 2 Ohio State guys are next. Yeah, no, he's clearly to me a tier above these 2. These 2 guys, and this is where it kind of starts, and it's kind of weird, where it's kind of like you get pieces of a backfield. I don't know if you get a complete like starting alpha running back.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing on Hampton, I just want to say this: his 2023 tape was almost as good as his 2024, and 2024 was kind of lacking in a sense because he did so much damage in 23. But man, he's gonna be a great running back in the league, man. He has a higher floor than Jeanty.
Yeah, I agree. I there is a world where I can see Jeanty just like the power doesn't translate,
and maybe he breaks down.
Yeah, and then maybe I should have said that. Like, I don't know if 5'9", 215, that power is going to translate to – because it didn't look like that against Penn State for most of the game. There's a few runs here and there. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. Let's get into our number 3 running back. Who's your number 3?
Well, we'll do the Ohio State guys. I got Treyveon. You have Quinshon Judkins. And I think it's perfect. They go right after each other. We tie them together in a neat little bow.
All right. Let's start out with Treyveon Henderson because I was conflicted on putting him at 4. You have him at 3. I'm not mad at all. The Ohio State running backs are phenomenal. Treyveon is 5'10", 202 pounds. Ran a 4.43 out of Ohio State. Max, what did you see out of Treyveon to put him at 3 for you?
Really fast. Just a home run waiting to happen. Good change of direction. He's able to just put his foot in the ground and go. Love his ability as a receiver. He does one thing better than any other running back in the class, and it's not necessarily always a big thing, but coaches are going to love it. The way he's able to pick up blitzes was special. Yes. You don't see that from anybody. He's 5'10". You would think Omarion Hampton, his teammate, this dude was like, oh, you're dead. Trying to think, there was some running backs, John Gruden, when he did Monday Night Football, used to be like, look at this blitz pickup. I can't remember who it was. Somebody, who was that guy?
The blitz pickup? Yeah, Danny Woodhead?
Yeah, you'd be like, look at this guy just like take like the linebacker's looping, and he just like
Ezekiel
it's not
Elliott.
Just like gets it. Yeah, Zeke, that's what I'm thinking. Thank you. It's not just like I'm gonna just get in his way. It's like no, I'm gonna take his head off. That's what it is. He's able to weave his way through traffic, doesn't fumble. Now, he doesn't really make people miss with jukes. He more makes them miss with angles and stuff, and he doesn't have a lot of power. And this is something. If you take Quinshon over him, I totally get it. There's injury concerns. There's definitely he's been banged up. And this is where I talk about. To me, Quinshon Judkins is Montgomery. This is Gibbs. I'm not saying the player comp. I'm saying that's the role in the backfield. Because, Jahmyr Gibbs, even though...
Slasher.
You need to have somebody else. And I feel that way about Judkins as well. Because he's not explosive like this guy.
Yeah. Look, high knees, always moving forward. He wants to punch you in your face. This guy has dog in him. There's a clip that I showed. Let me put it up for the audience. This first play right here. Sorry, I keep on switching. This first play right here. He's a lead blocker. Puts one on his ass.
That's the stuff. The coaches are gonna be like, let's say he falls, and the Eagles are like, oh, he's there at the 3rd round. Let's take him, and we can run our quarterback draw, and we can have him lead the way. And what running back really wants to do that stuff, right? Like it's a rare breed.
Yeah. Great angles as when it comes to stiff arms. Great jump cut. He's a one gap and go type guy. He doesn't look to dance. He plays with so much aggression, and I love it. He's everything that you want in a running back. He's the whole package. Like Pass blocking, like you said, runs with aggression. He has enough juice to take it to the house.
Good receiver.
Good
I
receiver.
just don't know if he'll hold up if you give him 20 carries a game. This is a guy maybe you give 13, 14 touches to.
Well, that's the thing. At worst, he's going to start off as a third down guy.
Yeah, and then we're like, damn, Treyveon Henderson's just a playmaker for whatever team he's on.
Yeah, he reminds me of J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gave me J.K. Dobbins vibes, and J.K. Dobbins, I like he was an Ohio State guy.
Do you find yourself making comparisons to people who went to that school when you do this?
Yes,
all the time, and I try not to.
Yeah,
to me, he reminded me of like a more violent Aaron Jones or a Tony Pollard. That's what I saw.
I just think he's way more talented than I like J.K. Dobbins. I think he's really the injuries put a toll on him, but him coming out, he was really good.
Oh yeah.
He had speed to him. He had power. He ran with aggression. He still does run with aggression, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He was great with pass blocking and pass pro, all that stuff. To me, Treyveon Henderson is going to be like just a little bit plus version of J.K. Dobbins.
So let me ask you,
the stature too.
Can you see him being a bell cow?
I can see it. He only had 590 carries. It's not,
bro. You just said 600's a red flag,
but it's under 600.
That's 10 under.
Hey, it's 10. And
you're on drugs.
And the thing is, he was a second fiddle last year.
No, college. I don't look like that. They're not second fiddle. It's like 1A, 1B.
But he didn't get the total work carry
because they don't want him to get hurt. But they don't want him to get hurt. I mean, if it's like 500, I get you. But 590, you're like, bro.
Yeah,
you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, I think it's under 600. I think it's a good number.
So 599, we're good.
599, we're good.
Run it to the bank. Run it to the
599, we're good. And I think
so that first 10 carries NFL, and you're like, oh, he's
done.
Okay,
I think he'll be fine in the NFL. He's a little bowling ball like J.K. Dobbins, and I think his body will hold up. I think Judkins, on the other hand, I think. Who's smaller? Henderson's a little bit smaller, right? 202.
A little bit. Yeah. Judkins is a monster.
Anything else on Henderson?
No, I just want to reiterate my point that I think Henderson and Judkins are both pieces of a really good backfield. I don't think either of them is like a star.
When it comes to carries, Max, I'm looking at it right now. As far as just last year, not career wise, 144 for Henderson, 194. For Judkins.
Yeah, 1A, 1B. That's not many.
Yeah. Okay. Let's show the grade on Hampton. I had
Henderson.
Henderson.
A lot of H's.
A lot of H's. All right, let's go to the grade on Henderson for me. I have him as a 78.5. Mid-second round pick. I'm not surprised if he goes early. Not surprised at all.
Are you surprised if he goes in round 1?
A little bit.
Yeah, no, he's a day 2 guy.
Yeah, day 2. A little bit if he goes in day 1. Max, where did you have him?
Same thing. I have him round 2, 35 to 55.
Yeah, you had a pretty high grade on him, 83.5.
Yeah.
I think it's just the running back value that's coming into play.
Yeah, correct. Again, and this isn't where I think they are on my big board. This is where I think they'll get drafted.
Right.
To me, this is someone you take there.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into my number 3 guy.
His teammate,
Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins. His first name's not hard. You don't say it.
Quinshon
Judkins.
Okay, let's get into Quinshon. 6 foot, 221 pounds, 4.48. Max, what did you see out of Quinshon?
Great size. Like, he has the alpha size and frame. He's a strong, capable of running people over. Great stiff arm. Quicker than he is fast. Has a good burst. He definitely doesn't have elite speed in any stretch of the imagination. Doesn't fumble. He's able to pick up blitzers as well, but not to the level that Henderson is. Good vision, good hands as a receiver. There's nothing he does bad, but I don't think there's one thing he does special. He's the jack of all trades, master of none. He's a great piece for a running back room. This is a guy, like I keep going back to the lines. If you're trying to build your running back room and you don't have Saquon, you don't have Derrick Henry, you don't have these elite guys. He's a Montgomery, and then you need that speed guy. He's tremendous at what he'll do.
I just think he's a little bit more talented of a runner than Henderson. That's the whole reason why I have him above.
And let me say one thing. If you draft him and you know the guy and you're like, he can be our bell cow, I'm all for it. I just think he's better as a piece to me. Like, Like realistically, if he's your lead back, you're thinking he's what? Maybe a top 10 guy. He's never going to be like the 5th best running back in football.
I think it's hard to find a lead back guy. You never want to have a lead back guy. Even the Eagles, they had the best running back last year. Kenneth Gainwell put
That's a
some
good
great
backup.
carries. You
Yeah.
have to have a second guy, regardless.
But let me rephrase. But this is a guy I want to take 60% of my carries, not 85. And there's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah.
still love him. I still think he's a round 2 player. He to me, he's Joe Mixon / James Conner.
I have the same thing. I have Joe Mixon.
Yeah, James Conner. Yeah.
Very, very patient runner, very deadly in space. He was extremely deadly when it came to that. And that was really the deciding factor for me. Like what he did as far as an athlete goes, like making guys miss, showing the power. I just think he had the whole package compared to Henderson. Henderson's good, but a lot of his game is like punch you in the mouth effort, aggression. With him, he's a natural, talented.
I
running
would
back.
say this. If you think this guy I think this guy has a better chance of being a number 1 running back
Yes.
than Henderson.
Yes.
But I think Henderson, like those 10 plays he gets, can be more special than Judkins. Because there's a lot of games where you're like, well, they didn't really do much. Neither of them.
Yeah. He has a nose for the end zone. You got to love the size. And I really like him in the receiving category.
Yeah, for as big as he is, he has good hands.
And that's what made me think like the Joe Mixon parallel, because Joe Mixon is a big guy. He runs with power. He has enough juice and he has enough agility and the shakes.
But it's like Joe Mixon, you would say, is great at a lot of stuff. But is there one thing you're like, wow? No, there's not.
Right.
But he does everything good.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not crazy athletes.
Oh, I agree.
Like a Jeanty.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They're good. They're good, most definitely.
Like the one thing you could say about Treyveon Henderson that shows up on the tape is like, damn, he's really fast.
Yeah.
Judkins is he's plenty fast. He's not,
And he's not afraid to mess someone up on a blitz pickup
no, I say
at all. I didn't see pass pro as a big issue.
No, it's not as good as his teammates. But whoever's coaching that up in Ohio State, get a raise.
All 4 of these guys that we just named, they're not going to have an issue getting on the field right away.
I agree.
Because some guys, the pass pro is so bad that they need a couple weeks to get going. Like the running back coach just doesn't trust them at all. Let's look at the grades that we had for Judkins. I had a 82, early 2nd round pick. I would be surprised if he went in the 1st, even though I have him in number 3 slot.
Like
Max,
if he gets
what about-
picked in the 1st round, it's got to be like pick 32 or something. Like I would agree. Early round 2.
Yeah. Max has an 83, one point above. Same thing though, early 2nd round pick. All right. Anything else on the Ohio State guys? What about fits for those guys? What would you like for fits? For me, for Judkins, I would love him with Denver. Denver is dying to have a guy like him. They have a bunch of running backs already, like you said, to take on that 30-40% range. He'll do so good with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I feel like if somehow he's on the board for Dallas in round 2, take him. I'd rather you do that than pick Jeanty at wherever they pick.
And for Treyveon Henderson, he fits so perfect with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's meant to be a Steeler.
He looked great with the Eagles. We have an opening.
No, I wouldn't want him with the Eagles, though. Because Saquon, I want him to be the lead guy. Not a bell cow, just the lead guy. I don't want him to be in that 50-50.
So
I want him
if
to
the
show.
Pittsburgh drafts him, Jalen Warren isn't the best running back in the room?
No, it's going to be Henderson. He's going to be the best running back. Yeah, come on.
I wouldn't
Compared to
say
Jalen
that.
Warren?
I wouldn't say that.
Usually I'm the guy that's sticking up for Jalen Warren.
I know. I wouldn't say that.
I like Jalen Warren for fantasy more than like actual football guy. But I think that's just because Najee Harris just failed me, from his draft stock that I had in him.
Yeah.
But I love Henderson for Pittsburgh regardless. Okay, let's get into your number 5. Who was your 5 guy?
Kaleb Johnson.
Caleb.
Let me say this. There's a line. There's a tier between 3 and 4, and then 5.
Mm-hmm.
Kaleb Johnson, there's a lot to like, and maybe I talked myself into it. He has the prototypical size and frame for the position. He's 6'1", 225. Really good vision. I think he's able to find holes. His patience is good. He knows how to set up blocks. He has good powers. He's able to push the pile. he hit a lot of big runs, but it's always 30, 40, 50. It's not, oh, I'm going to just take this first one and go 80. He breaks tackles, but he doesn't make guys miss. But he doesn't break tackles to the levels of the other guys on this list. To me, he's an absolute role player. He doesn't have the ability to really catch the ball out of the backfield. Not that he can't do it. He's just not great at it. And he has no short area quickness. He's big. He's lumbering. To me, he's a guy like who's the Niners running? Elijah Mitchell type guy. But he don't have the quicks of he's a all effort Isaiah Pacheco, but bigger. He runs high. He runs just like Isaiah Pacheco. He's a late round 2, maybe round 3. Maybe there's more to his game. I just didn't see it on film. But I put him at 5 primarily because I thought if there's one guy from like 5 to 10 who could be the number 1 running back, it's him. It is him. I don't think anyone else has a chance.
I think he's going to be scheme dependent.
I absolutely agree with that. If you're like, hey, buddy, we need you to go get shit that's not there, it's like, no, he's getting tackled. But if you put him on Frisco, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going to be a zone blocking scheme type of guy. Yeah. To me, what popped out, he looked pretty big on film. And he ran, not saying he ran like him as far as like talent wise, but I'm saying he has the running style when he's in the open field because he runs with very high pad level. Derrick Henry, he ran like him. Not saying he is Derrick Henry. I'm saying that he ran the style of him. Derrick Henry does not run with low pad level. He runs very high.
Only difference is Derrick Henry's got like 3 to 4 inches on this guy.
Yeah. But yeah. He looked pretty big on film. When I seen his height, I was like, man, he's not as big as he looks on film. So that's something that I put in my notes. He has some stop ability to him, just a little bit, but he's limited as an athlete as far as like the lateral stuff. He has to get going. Yeah. Once he's in the open field, that speed winds up showing up as far as that 4.57 of getting going in a 40, he's not going to do good. But when he has the ball in his hands and he has that zone stretch, he's going to show you his speed and he's going to take it to the house.
Yeah, no, I was really proud because like I told you, I was like, this year I'm going to like guess there 40 times. I was like 4.55 to 4.6. I was like, there's no way. And I felt good because that's where he is. He's not fast. He's got enough speed.
He looks faster on tape.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. He always loves to fall forward. He has that lean mentality like Derrick Henry as far as just running with a lean to him.
The one thing I'll say is he doesn't get stuff that's not there. It's kind of like it has to be there for him to go get it. Like he doesn't, like if there's a guy in the hole, he's going to get tackled. He's not going to bop, and then he's gone for 15. If there's 3 yards to get, he gets 3. He never gets 7, really. Mm-hmm. So not never, but just not as not the rate the other guys do.
Yeah, and this is probably the biggest difference that we have. It's not major, but I had him at 7. And another thing to put on his speed, just to push it even more, when he was doing football drills in the combine, he was top 5. The 40, he was slow, but in football activity, he was running fast. His pass pro needs some work. He's a guy that's probably not going to get on the field early. It's going to take him some time. And he's a boomer bust to me.
I'd agree.
Boomer bust. He's either going to boom or he's going to not be all that good. And it's going to depend on the situation and how they use him. If he goes to San Francisco, he's probably going to do pretty good because almost every running back in that system does good.
Well, I just mean more like his zone. If he gets like drafted to not the Eagles, but like Cowboys, you're like, oh, okay, we get it. He's not that good.
Thinking about it right now,
Cowboys would be great for him though. I mean, like if you need a running back,
there's 2 teams that pop out. One, Philadelphia.
Yeah, we got AJ Dillon, so we don't really need him. But yeah.
Yeah, but AJ Dillon gets hurt almost every year.
Don't ever say that again. Don't ever wish that up. Don't ever say that.
And that's the facts of it. And I would like Kaleb Johnson with Saquon.
He's more of a sledgehammer than the other guys on this list. Like that's his role. He's a sledgehammer where like my number 6 is Dylan Sampson, who's like the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. He's like the elusive like scat back.
And the other fit would be the Chargers. I would like him with the Chargers.
He really could be Najee Harris in the NFL. Like he really could be. That's a great comp.
Who's your comp?
Isaiah Pacheco, but bigger. But now I'm going to take Najee Harris.
I have you're gonna hate it because I told you.
Derrick Henry.
No, David Johnson. He runs high.
Don't ever say that again.
He runs high.
Don't ever talk about the
enough...
guy who tanked my fantasy season the year after I picked him.
He did, but he reminds me a little bit of David Johnson. And David Johnson went a lot later. I think he went like undrafted or 6th round.
Yeah.
But he fizzled out pretty quick, and I think it was because he was scheme dependent. But he gives me a little bit of David Johnson vibes, and he is a early 3rd rounder for me. Let's show the.
To me, this guy is really late round 2 or early round 3.
Yeah, you have 2 to 3. You have him as a 79. It's a pretty high grade. But you have size and frame as 10, so that's part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I have him as a 76.5, early 3rd round to mid, whatever. But that's our Kaleb Johnson. Let's get into your number 6. He's at 6, right? You know
Dylan Sampson.
About. Oh, you got Dylan Sampson.
Who are you thinking?
I'm gonna go to my boy. All right, let's talk about it. We've been waiting for this. This is when the podcast gets a little violent. You know, let's talk about Cam Skattebo. Something about Skattebo, man. Something about them white running backs. All right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, dude. Cam Skattebo is a fucking bowling ball. He has tremendous contact balance. I really like his jump cut. I think a lot of people love to put the lack of agility and speed on him. I don't think it's all that bad. He's super slippery. He's super slippery as a runner. He just simply breaks tackles, and he's kind of like the poor man's version of Jeanty in a sense, in like every category. Like he's just poor man. He still does it though. He breaks tackles. He runs with fucking aggression. He be bowling over people, and I think Max has a little hate towards limited athletes. I think that's just what it is. He doesn't like guys who are limited athletically, unless they're Kyron Williams. That's really the only guy I can remember.
That guy wasn't limited, bro. Let me tell you. Let me just say this one. Let me hear your negatives. All you've been doing is glazing, as the kids would say.
Oh, my God.
Come on. What's the negatives?
He's not a top end athlete. That's really what it is. He's not a top end athlete, and
fumbles.
He has some fumbling issues. Yes.
Does he ever make a guy miss?
I would say yes.
I mean, I feel like he just breaks tackles.
He's top 5 in elusive rating. I don't think that's an accident. A lot of the guys in the top 5 elusive category, they're all elusive, and he has 4.9 yards after carry. That's 3rd in the nation. Missed tackles, 2nd. He makes guys fucking miss. 66 yards, touchdown long, career-wise. I put that because he obviously doesn't have the home run ability. He's not going to take 180 yards to the house. He's going to run out of gas. He's probably going to get caught up on the fucking 10-yard line.
I mean, I'm going to sound like I hate this guy, but
I'm not going to say this. You're not crazy as far as like, no. He's not even close. You think he's a good football player.
Yeah,
you just
football
don't have
player.
him high.
Yeah, no, he's the number 7 on my list. He wears out defenses. He accelerates fast, has a good burst. He's got a great center of gravity, which results in that awesome contact balance we talk about. The thing that worries me is just that I don't know if his power is going to translate to the NFL. I don't know if... Same thing with Jeanty a little bit, but to him more to an extent because he's not as great an athlete. Hey, are you going to be able to just run over the Eagles secondary? Are you going to be able to run over these guys? No, you're not. He's banged up. A lot of carries, dude. 600 was the thing. And
709.
That's like extra red for you, I guess. I don't know. 510's fine. I will say this. He's a good receiver. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. He's natural, catches the ball well. But he fumbles, like I said, doesn't make guys miss. He gets into a lot of big hits, which I don't love.
His pounding running style is going to lead to short lifespan.
That's why I put him at 7. I was like, he might be good for 2 to 3 years. My player comp is Guard Dunham. That's Steve Austin's character in Longest Yard. That's how a white man runs the football, with heart, willpower, and just the tenacity.
Yeah.
Real comp, Jordan Howard or Toby Gearhart.
That's disrespectful.
How? Those guys are good running backs.
No. Jordan Howard was not all that good. He really wasn't. He really wasn't.
I like how you have a problem with Jordan Howard, but I said Toby Gearhart. And Toby
Gearhart too.
He sucked.
He sucked.
Jordan Howard had a good couple years, and so is he.
Maybe one or two.
He's Jordan Howard plus.
The other thing
One comped him to freaking I don't know Mike Allstott probably.
No. My comp for him was Kareem Hunt.
When you clip this, can you put the picture of Guard Dunham, like
Yeah,
Steve
I
Austin
got
just running great?
But I had Kareem Hunt for him.
Oh my, you're smoking crack.
He's a violent runner. I think
yeah,
Kareem Hunt is violent. Kareem Hunt doesn't have that much shake to him.
Hey, brother, he's definitely violent. I agree.
If you put on the Texas game, if you want to know about Cam Skattebo,
yeah, those guys are not that good. Let me put it. Texas sucks. No kidding. They lost. Really.
Hey man, you want to get a good representation of him?
Georgia play these bums at Arizona State.
I love how Max wants to just mention the fucking competition when he wants to.
What do you mean?
When he wants to.
All the competition he played sucks.
When he wants to.
He's playing Arizona. They have no one getting drafted other than Tet.
But when fucking Travis Hunter does it don't matter, huh?
Well, that's my go.
Oh, so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I don't hate this guy. He's my 7th running back. Okay.
But yeah, the protecting the ball is a real thing. He has fumbleitis.
But he has some of that. I'm fighting so hard because the offense is on me. So
yeah. And another thing, his pass pro is not good.
No,
it's not.
He's not afraid to do it. Yeah, he's just like
he misses his punch all the time. He's all over the place, and that's coachable. All that's coachable.
Yeah,
and I have him in his own tier, just because he's just a lot different. He's a running back.
The WRB tier.
WRB tier. And a lot of people are going to hate on him because he's white. He's a white running back. It's like the white corner thing. Like, I think a lot of people see that he's white at a position that's dominantly black and it's athletic guys. They automatically assume this guy's not an athlete. He's not this. He's not that. He's all power.
Name a white running back in the league right now.
There's not that many.
I'm genuinely trying. I'm like,
Toby Gerhart, is he in the league still? Probably not.
There's got to be one.
Hey, man, Cam Skattebo is going to be a Madden cover. Payne Hillis, man.
Oh, man, this really... I can't... Oh, no, the Chargers... the Chiefs have one, too, right? Don't they have a white running back?
The Lionheart, man.
Yeah. Whatever. We're good. We got it.
Yeah, but...
Let me see the grade for him. Let me see your grade. Like 99 or what?
I do not have him as a 99. He's number 5 for me, Max. Chill out. All right, Cam Skattebo's grade for me is a 77. I have him as an early 3rd round.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into the 4th though. Maybe teams just don't follow. I would be.
That's the range. Yeah.
I would love for a team to draft him in the 2nd just to rub it in your face.
I hope the Raiders pick him.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. We need a running back. Get him late. All right, I'll love a Cam Skattebo.
Because you already have Zamir White, who's the same guy, but no, he's better than Zamir White.
He's a lot better. For Max, he's a 75. Kind of same range, 3 to 4.
You'll see on this list. I think 7 through 10 are all 75s. Mm-hmm. They're all like this is all a range.
Yeah, and best fit, Denver Broncos.
You gonna say that for everybody?
Denver needs a running back, and a lot, like you said, a lot of these guys are not going to be bell cows.
You know who would be a good fit for him because it'd be like Miami because you have nobody like this. You need some type of let's just be finesse.
He's just not though. He's not. Mike.
He'd be like,
he don't have enough juice.
Yeah, he'd be like, yeah. But there's like his value would be being the physical running back on the team.
To Devin Etienne.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that would be a great, but he's not because he's power scheme. I don't think he's gonna be like for him to catch that edge on a zone stretch.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
So who's your 6 if he's your 5?
My 6 is
Tuten. Okay, let's do Tuten.
Dude, let's give a chance at that first name. How do you say it?
Bhayshul Tuten.
Bhayshul?
I don't know.
That sounds pretty good. Bhayshul Tuten.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up the enunciation.
Bhayshul Tuten, 5'9", 206 pounds. He ran a 4.32 max out of Virginia Tech.
Now, this is a guy Miami would definitely draft.
Yeah. I have him at 6. Where do you have him?
Oh, sorry. It's Bhayshul.
Bhayshul Tuten.
Wow.
Bhayshul Tuten.
Why do you even put that H? I didn't put the H in that name. Just screw everybody.
Very productive guy.
Yeah.
Makes guys miss almost every time in the open field. You talk about a guy that has the shakes in the open field. He has it. Has some good contact balance. The 4.3 speed, though, didn't really match the tape. I don't think he was that much of a burner. He's more short area speed to me. More straight line speed, if you want to see like the 4.3, like once he gets going, maybe. But runs very violent, doesn't stop moving his legs. He shows up with attitude when he's running the football. Has some catching ability to him. Does have a fumbling issue.
Yes.
He can fumble at times.
Yes.
And the frame, you just got to be aware of it because I don't think he's as thick as a Jeanty or even a Hampton.
No, he is going to be your running back that is just a burner that has speed, who can get out into space and can take one for 80. The vision needs work. You basically said all my pros. So he has the speed, he has decent contact balance, good hands, but he don't really run a lot of routes. It's all like just swing out to the side and just go catch it. Maybe run a little Texas route, whatever. He, to me, like I said, as fast as he is, he's not necessarily quick or like twitchy because he's more of a straight liner. Like he just can't. You know, I'm sure the audio listeners are going to understand that, but you get what I mean. Like you just can't pop, like just go left, go right, juke back. You know, put your foot in the ground and go. No, he kind of needs that.
Right.
To me, he reminded me of Chase Edmonds.
Wow, that's
Edmonds
low praise.
How's that low praise? Chase Edmonds was good.
Chase Edmonds,
the Arizona running back.
He's still in the league though, right?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know where.
I don't think he's all that good. My comp to him was Chase Brown, and you know how much I love Chase Brown. I was on Chase Brown early. I think he has like the same build, the same running style. He can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Chase Edmonds had like a 7-year career, but it wasn't that. Come on.
I mean, what was his stats? How many yards does he have for his career?
2,000.
That is not shit, Max. Come on.
He's a role player. This guy is not going to get a lot of carries. If this guy has more than 500 yards this year,
I think you're going to see him
$50.
I think if he goes on a team where he starts off as the second back, like Chase Brown,
who's he going to start for? What team's going to be like
Cincinnati?
So we need two of the same guy.
Fuck it.
Okay.
Fuck it. He can start for the Raiders. The Raiders don't got a running back. Who's going to start for the Raiders over him?
Cam
who?
Skattebo.
We're not going to draft both of them.
Exactly. You're not going to draft either of them. Shut up.
He'll start for the Chargers?
No, he won't start for the Chargers.
For the Chargers. Oh, yeah, they did get Najee.
And they have Gus Bus.
He can start for Denver.
Denver. Again. Continue.
Denver got no running backs.
Let's go.
All right, but yeah, Chase Brown, I like him in New England, and I love him for Kansas City. I think he'll be great for Kansas City.
Yeah, he could be like the Jet McKinnon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Let's go to. Oh, by the way.
Let's show the grade.
Let's show the grade. By the way, he had 750 carries. That's the most that we have seen throughout this whole list that we've been talking about. 750. I think he's the highest next to Devin Neal.
He's around 3 to 4 guy. Like everything Skattebo does good. He's like the opposite. He's like the anti. He's like fast, gonna go quick.
Yeah. I have him as an early third. You're gonna see from here on out. Every guy that I have is third round. All these guys can go in the third round. Yeah. Same thing as Max, 3 to 4, 75 for him.
He's just a different cup. Like if you want a speedster, you go him. If you want power, you go Cam Skattebo.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Okay, who do you want to go next?
I got to go Dylan Sampson. He got to go to my number 6.
Okay, let's go to Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. Max, what'd you see out of Dylan Sampson?
Sorry, I'm grabbing my notes. Okay. Short, but not a bad frame. Good speed. They said he ran a 4.42 at his pro day. It's more like 4.45, 4.48. Ability to cut. I like his ability to accelerate. I love his vision, able to weave in and out of traffic. You know what I hated? You guys have seen the clips. There's their whole running game. There's no plays we didn't. There's no different like, oh, let's line up under center and give them like a wide, like a zone to the outside, right?
Same thing with Jalen Wright last year.
Yeah, it's like, dude, all we run is inside zone. We pull the left tackle. We run the pallets. All they do. It is so stupid. He has good contact balance. Has decent power. I think he had 900 yards after contact this year. Not a lot of carries in college. What he will do is try to hit the home run way too much. Doesn't have a great hands. Bad in pass pro, like pretty crappy.
Yes, has a fumbling issue.
Fumble issues too.
And I think it's a work on how he carries the ball. It's just bad. I don't like the way he carries the ball. He flings it around because he's trying to make guys miss. Kind of.
Did he sneak into your top 10?
He did not. I just want to reiterate this though. 6 through 14 is extremely close.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
So it's not that big of a drop off. I know in numbers it seems like that. I had him at 13, but no reason why that you should go crazy because you have him higher. I'm not gonna go crazy. I see what you see. I don't know. He left some huge holes like on film sometimes, and it wasn't much when you're playing for Tennessee because Tennessee's offensive line is not that good. But when he did have holes, I was just like, man, just hit it, just hit it, just hit it.
He
This is your
doesn't
one
necessarily
chance.
hit the whole heart. He does this thing where like he's kind of like just kind of being patient, but it's like no, just go crazy. He's not a violent runner.
Yeah, and he has a nose for the end zone.
Yeah.
He had how many touchdowns? He had a lot of touchdowns.
I think
Max.
like 14.
22
Yeah,
touchdowns.
wow, 22.
Yeah, he had a lot. And my comp to him, the guy that I hold dear to my heart, D'Angelo Williams, D-Lo.
I don't get that one at all.
I like D-Lo.
I have Travis Etienne as my comp, like a lesser.
D-Lo back in the day, man. You're thinking of D-Lo when he saved my fantasy team, like old D-Lo. I'm talking about young D-Lo.
I mean, he was so much better though. That's why I'm like
smash and dash D-Lo. But yeah, I gave him some high praise.
This guy's an extremely late, like maybe he sneaks into like the last pick of the second round. To me, he's a round 2, probably more of a round 3 guy. Very late round 2 guy.
Yeah. Let me show the
he's
grade.
gonna be a piece of a backfield in the NFL. He's not a lead back by any measure. Would you agree?
No. Like you said, a lot of 6 through 14 for me.
You got Tuten up there.
Is interchangeable. Sorry, let me get.
We have so many running backs, guys. We apologize. And they're all like, I think I have a 75 on him too. Maybe.
I have 75, so yeah, very similar.
Oh, you have 75. Wow.
Yeah, I have him as a late 3rd round pick.
And he's your 12?
He's my 13.
Oh, 13. Wow.
Yeah,
I think I might have him a little higher. I'm trying to remember.
76.5.
Yeah, late round 2, early round 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not everyone's cup of tea. That's for sure.
Who's next on the list? Let's go to my 8. Okay, because we already got my 6, my 7. Let's look at our list so far, just so the audience.
Yeah, we got to recap big time because there's so many names.
Yeah. Okay. So my list 1 through 7 we already talked about, and I just want to say this: me and Max like to do the tiers. For me, there's a line, Jeanty, line. Okay. Tier in his own. Omarion Hampton, another line. He's in a tier of his own. 3 through 4. Those guys are in the
Ohio
same
State tier.
Yeah. Ohio State tier. Cam Skattebo in his own tier, just because I think he's just a lot more interesting as a prospect than these other guys. I like him a lot. So after that, 6 through 13, like I've been saying like crazy, all in the same tier. All these guys are interchangeable. It comes down to guys that I liked a little bit more. Damien Martinez is one of those guys.
Can I show my list real quick?
Yes.
Just so let me do mine. 1, I have Ashton Jeanty. 2, Omarion Hampton. Draw a line. I think those two are in a tier of their own. Then we have the Ohio State tier, Treyveon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. Kaleb Johnson, line. I think he's got more upside than anyone between 6 through 6 on. 6, Dylan Sampson, Cam Skattebo. 8, Tuten. 9, Trevor Etienne. 10, Devin Neal. These guys are all from 6 to 12 for me. All interchangeable, kind of.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into my number 8. Damien Martinez.
Ooh.
Out of Miami. This guy's a load, dude. He has a great jump cut. He has a very smooth running style. He's just smooth out there. It looks like he's kind of gliding. He doesn't have wasted movement. He's a north and south runner. I love his shiftiness for his size. He's slippery. He just hard to take down. He doesn't go down on first contact. And he's kind of like an old school feel. I don't know if you remember him. Icky Woods. Remember Icky Woods? If you ever look up at highlights of Icky Woods, he's the golden child like poster of a lot of average running backs back in those days. They were big, they were stocky, but they can move. They had sweet feet. That was the thing. And that's what I seen in Damien Martinez, a real old school runner. He had some really good feet to him. Some of the comparisons that I had, Dameon Pierce, I'm giving him Dameon Pierce just because Dameon Pierce is on the lower side of things. If you want to see an elite and very good aspect, it's David Montgomery. That's a big guy that can move, has sweet feet, runs with some power. That's like the gold standard right now in the league. What did you see out of Damien Martinez, Max? And where did you have him?
I had him at 12, I think.
Okay.
No, 12 exactly, yeah. He has the ability to push piles. Like, to me, there was so much good. There's not a lot of bad, but there's nothing excellent, nothing great. He is really a jack of all trades, master of none. Quicker than fast, good vision, good power, decent hands. More of an inside runner. He's not. You don't really want to give him.
He's
the
a
ball.
gap. He's a gap guy.
Yeah, you don't really want to be like, take this toss and go crazy, kid. And it's like, no, let's give him. Let's just get him in the hole and let him be violent. He lacks elite speed for sure. He had a DUI in 2023, which, I mean, not a big deal. You're a college kid. You make a mistake. I'm not worried. If you have like 10, you're like, okay, maybe this guy's a drunk. Little raw and pass pro Jamal Williams light to me.
Yeah. To me, he's scheme dependent.
Yeah, he's gonna be a great running back too for some team.
Yeah. And I love him as a runner as far as how big he is and how good his feet are. A lot of guys, when you're that size and that stocky, it was funny. I looked up his weight off of PFF, and I was looking at his weight, and they had him in as...
Was that the one at 240?
Yeah. He was,
no way.
Yeah, and it was crazy. He weighed in at 217, so...
Yeah,
they're making him look a little bit bigger on that college, you know?
Yeah. This shit bigger.
That's when you're playing Miami, and you're the middle linebacker, and you're like a guy that's probably going to be like a plumber or something, and you're like, what the fuck? This guy's 240, 250? Like, what am I getting into?
Yeah.
But he runs like it. He runs like he has a lot of weight to him. And he's just poor right now as far as reading blocks. On the outside, like you said, if he's trying to hit a zone stretch, he's not going to read it good, number one. And number two, he doesn't have the speed to really get out there like that. But I love him as a player. Damian Pierce plus. And I love him for the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh would love a guy like this.
He's going to be... He could really go to any team and just be a good backup. Yeah. That's what I put.
All right. And then for the grade for Martinez... It's the same thing, guys. Early round 3, 76.5. I have a lot of these guys in the 76, 75 range. What about you, Max?
I'm going to have him around 3 to 4 again.
Yeah.
7. Look at that. He's 12 and he's 74.5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a good player.
Very good player.
He's just not my cup. He wasn't what I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so we're at 9 for me. Or did I hit your 8?
No, we're good. I'm good. I'll only have 2 left in my top 10. Devin Neal and Trevor Etienne. Trevor at 9.
So Trevor is lined up for both of us. Okay. Let's talk about Trevor Etienne.
I told Juan the whole thing. I'm like, he's my number 1 back. He's like, I know you're going to love him. I know you're going to love him. He's fast. He's quick. He does a lot of great things. The one thing you wonder about is like, why isn't he better? Right? You're like, what is he lacking? There's some off the field concerns. Georgia did not be like, hey, bro, just you be a great player on offense for us. They were just like, you're average. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of scares me. He didn't look as explosive on tape as his combine would suggest. He definitely lacks power. Great hands. Really good pass blocking, I thought. Like, schooled in doing it right. Good ball security. Lack of wear and tear. To me, the one thing I was worried about was just he doesn't break a lot of tackles, gets tackled a lot. Contact balance is whatever. He seems to always be getting like knocked around and just stumbling and bumbling and rumbling. He's Miles Sanders. He's good at a lot, elite at nothing. I wanted to love him more, but I couldn't justify putting him more than I wanted to. Round 3 to 4 pick.
Yeah. Not a lot of miles on him. He only has 371 carries in his college career. Part of that is injury.
And he wasn't ripping off runs like his brother. His brother was just ripping like run after run.
He's really wiggly. He's a wiggly guy. He makes guys miss.
He does scare me where if you put him on the right offense, like he's got the tools to be really good. And you're just like, oh no.
He's very natural to me. He looks like a natural pass catcher coming out of the backfield. He can shake and bake a guy in the hole. Ability to hit the edge on runs. Of course, the frame is concerning. He's
smaller than his brother, a lot smaller.
Yeah, he's a lot smaller.
He's like 5'9", like 200 pounds.
Anything with strength, he lacks.
Yeah, lacks power.
Yeah, he lacks strength. He lacks power, and anytime he gets like bumped up in the hole, he just kind of loses momentum and he goes down. Like arm tackles are going to take him down when he's in the hole. Once he gets outside of that, it's funny.
Open field, he's nasty.
Open field and behind the line of scrimmage, he is phenomenal. It's when he's going through the tackles. And that makes you think like Miami will be a good fit for him. You know, that kind of running scheme. Not a crazy burner, like you said. And
his 40 time did not line up with how he played. I was like, because you don't see him rip off runs. And I would say this. Georgia's offense definitely took a step back.
Yeah.
Like it was rough to watch for a lot of the year.
And I just want to say this, like we always do every single year, and almost every player, we wind up having a player like this in our top 10 where they have off the field issues. We're not judging them off of that. Is his draft stock maybe going to drop? Yeah, probably. You know, some team is going to cross him out for that. But in my full opinion,
he's a college kid. You can make a mistake when you're 20 years old.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
He made a mistake
about Martinez. Like he had a DUI, but you know, unless he has like 10 of them, I'm not worried.
Yeah, and if you're judging him off of that, off a perfect person, I've seen a lot worse. Number one, and number two, he's a college kid. You make mistakes. Think of yourself as a college kid at that point. You probably did some very stupid stuff.
I will say one more thing. With NIL, these guys get money now, so they have more options to do crazier stuff. Like you have a Ferrari and you want a drag race and all this crazy stuff. So
yeah, but on the field, he's a late third round pick for me. I really do like the kid, and as far as him being better than his brother,
I doubt it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Me and you both like Etienne. You liked him even more. You had him at 1, but I was a big fan of Etienne coming out as well. I have him as a 76.5 for Trevor, late third round pick. As far as best fits go, Philadelphia has the infrastructure for him. They took in a guy like Jalen Carter. They win a lot of football games. They have a bunch of Georgia guys that he probably already knows already from, you know.
He's not a true Georgia guy. He's
a transfer. He's a transfer.
Yeah, he's like a Florida guy, Florida boy.
As far as comps go, and I really like this guy coming out. I had him in my top 5 back in the day when we did evaluations a couple years ago. Kenneth Gainwell.
We just lost him.
That's why
I had Miles Sanders.
Exactly.
Let's go.
See, so Philly guy, man. Get yourself some Trevor Etienne in your life. All right. Let's go to my number 10 guy, and then we'll hit your number 10 guy. After that, we'll do honorable mentions. We'll mention them.
Yeah,
we'll pick one guy each to talk about.
Okay.
And we'll do it like that. Okay, I want to talk about Woody Marks, or should I say Jaquavius Marks, a.k.a. Woody Marks, out of USC. Man, did I love this guy. He's a draft favorite for me. This dude has some fucking moves. You talk about some shake and bake ability, spin move. He's like a Madden joystick out there for me. Smooth athlete, natural runner. Can really make a guy miss in the open field. Jump cuts are very smooth. Doesn't lose momentum in his run. I love the short area quickness. What he lacks the power. I wish he had some runs where he can really punish someone. If you're looking for him to go through the hole like a lot of these guys we've been talking about and punish a guy, not going to happen. That's not his game. But I love him as a receiver. He has some really good high hopes for being a receiver out of the backfield. Knows how to follow his blocks. Very decisive runner. It's just tough because he needs a lot more work in the pass pro. So it might take teams, some time to get him on the field, number one, and it might put him off their draft board.
Yeah, he was good. He was 14 for me. Like you said, you hit everything I had a problem with. I was given this. He has great ball security, quicker than fast. He's great at playing around traffic where he's just like, I'm going to just weave here, set this guy up. He's good at that. He's a Samaje Perine in the NFL. He's a third down back, I think, who's going to give you some value. He can't be a bell cow. He can't be anything more than a role player. He's a round 4 to 5 guy for me.
To me, he's a third rounder. And my comp to him was DeAndre Swift that can follow blocks. I know DeAndre Swift does not have the best ball.
That's some high praise because DeAndre Swift was like a first-round pick as a freshman, basically.
Yeah, but that was him in his college career. I think as a pro, we both have seen you've seen some good amount of DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, it's just
there's a lot of meat on that bone that he leaves. But
because he lacks the traits.
He lacks the traits somewhat, but DeAndre Swift can make a guy fucking miss.
Yeah, he can, but he's also not a guy you're like, hey, just run up there and go get us 5. It's like, no, he's got to get into space.
And he has some of the worst ball carrier vision I've seen.
Yeah.
He does.
I like when you bring in a Madden rating.
But DeAndre Swift, looking at that Hard Knock shit, what was his name? Was it Deuce Staley? No. Who's the running back coach for the Lions, Max? Was it Deuce Staley?
When he was on Hard Knock? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Deuce Staley will always say, like, he had the ability to be the best running back in the league, but he could just not put it all together. I think Woody Marks has some capability of being one of the best running backs in the league. Not the best, but one of the best. That's some high praise. That's how much I like him.
Yeah.
That's how much I like him.
That's a little too high for me.
But let's go into your number 10 guy.
I can't believe you don't love this guy. I can't believe it.
He's number 11 for me.
Okay.
He's just one off.
Devin Neal got a really good size, really good frame, great vision. He has a good burst to him. He's definitely not your high-end speed type of guy. Constantly makes people miss. He doesn't have to slow down to change direction. He takes care of the ball. He has good power. Does he do one thing elite? Absolutely not. It's just good across the board. Good hands. Good ability to break tackles. Like I said. It's just mid. He's like the most middling running back. He's gonna be Chris Carson where he just runs hard. You're like, damn, that guy runs hard. That's what he does. He punished Colorado. He's just running over their whole defense. But will it translate to the NFL? No. He lacks the elite tools to be a high-end running back. But can he be Chris Carson? Yes, he can. Mm-hmm. If you have to go in for this guy for a starter, you're like, okay, he's going to be good. But we know we can always get better. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about him. He's around 3 to 4. I really like him. I'm going to root for him so hard in the NFL. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he has even more high-end talent than I think.
Yeah.
But he's capped as an athlete. He had a lot of carries in college too, I think. He's just a good player across the board. There's not one thing he does bad.
He's a solid running back to me. I'm going to start off with the comp. Zach Charbonnet, kind of similar to your guy. He runs very hard, but really does just lack the ability to make guys miss in the open field. Like when he tries to get shifty, he's not trying to do that. He's a kind of a not the biggest guy in the world, but he runs violent. He runs hard. He's going to try to run someone over every single time. And he's very decisive with his blocks, setting them up. And the size, he falls forward every time. Like, it doesn't really bother me because it doesn't show up on film at all. He's a great runner. But the one thing that I did put is his ceiling is just kind of capped for me.
Yeah, he's high floor, low ceiling.
Yeah. He's a high floor, low
That's what
ceiling
I said. Like
guy.
if he's your starting running back, you're like, could we definitely get an elite guy and be better? Yeah.
And that was the deciding factor for me, because you just heard the way I talked about Marks. I have some high praise for him. I like the potential there a little bit more. But Devin Neal, I love him. I really do as a running back, and just like a lot of the running backs in this class, they're really good as far as carries go. Max. He's the second highest as far as the guys that I scouted, 760. A lot of miles, and he runs hard. Runs really hard. All right. Best fit? Guess it, because you already know it.
Denver Broncos.
Well, you said it in the beginning before we talked. A lot of these guys are second fiddle guys. Denver they have a bunch of good running backs. They just need another one.
Yeah, I just need one more.
Yeah. All right. So we got our top 10 list done.
I'm going to do my honorable mention first because I'm taking the initiative, and he's my number 11, and he almost made it. It's RJ Harvey.
Oh, man. I was kind of disappointed, Max, that not one of us had him in top 10 because I really like him.
I know. Too. I told you when I had him, and I was like, oh, crap, I didn't put Trevor Etienne in here. What can I say? He's short, but he's got a good frame, good patience, good ability to make jump cuts. He'll burst through the hole. He makes people miss. He breaks arm tackles. One-on-one, he seems to never get tackled. He has good speed. He didn't play as fast as his 40. I think his 40 was blistering fast.
4.4.
Yeah, like pretty fast. He hits a lot of big plays. Here's the cons. You don't see much as a wide receiver. You don't see a lot in pass pro. He's like you and Madden. He loves to dance behind the line of scrimmage. And he doesn't have great power. To me, he could be Rachaad White, and to steal something you told me, Bucky Irving.
That's why I'm scared.
That's why I'm scared too.
I am frightened because both of us were so low on Bucky Irving. I talked a lot of shit about Bucky Irving. And RJ Harvey is a carbon copy of Bucky Irving to me. Very good vision. Loves to hit the edge, setting up blocks. He's a slippery guy. He gives me Le'Veon Bell patience. That's how he looks.
He'd be a great fit in Denver.
He'll be a great fit with the Rams. I had him for the Rams.
I just made that up just to screw with you.
I know. Because Denver needs running backs. I put Denver for a lot of these guys. But yeah, he's a carbon copy of Bucky Irving. I think he can catch the ball. I disagree with you. I think he has some ability to
No,
catch the
I
ball.
don't say he doesn't have good hands, but you don't really see much as like
I think that's
it's
part
going
of
to be
UCF.
it's going to be a projection to see what he can do as a.
The thing that's going to drop RJ Harvey, and it's kind of the same thing that dropped Bucky Irving. The size, number one,
Yeah, he's small.
and the fumbling issue.
Yeah,
he
got
has
fumbling
he has a
issue.
lot of
Yeah.
fumbles. I want to say I have it right here. He has. Did I write it? No, I did not write it. I'm sorry, guys. So some of the key stats that I wanted to say with him: 10 plus run plays, 10 or more,
A ton.
second in the nation.
Yeah,
Yards per carry.
high.
Guess who is second? RJ Harvey. Number one, of course, Ashton Jeanty is like number one in a bunch of stuff.
Everything, yeah.
But that's very high praise because you would think Omarion Hampton's on there.
Yeah.
You have a lot of guys that run very tough.
You have to give him some, like Bucky Irving did it at Oregon. This guy, UCF wasn't playing,
Right.
NFL players very often.
Yeah, but love
He could
RJ
be a
Harvey.
gem of the draft.
Yes,
I'm scared.
very scared. I'm going to talk about a guy that I had at 14 that I just want to talk about. Jordan James out of Oregon. I really like Jordan James. Where'd you have Jordan James? I think you had him a little bit lower than me.
Jordan James, I had him at 13.
At 13. Okay, so not that much of a difference. I'm tripping. Okay, Jordan James out of Oregon, powerful runner, always moving forward, really good contact balance, keeps his feet moving. He has some Jeanty and Gibbs stance to him as far as the backfield.
Oh yeah, that's the thing now where they just stand straight up.
Yeah, I mean,
People have been talking about Jeanty. I was like, that's Gibbs. That was Gibbs before Jeanty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with it. Hey, whatever makes you comfortable and you're a good running back, I don't give a damn. One thing that kind of bothers me about him, his pass pros average. It's nothing horrible, but it's just average. And he's a solid receiving option. He's just solid all the way around.
He scared me. I think he could be good too.
Yeah, because the one thing that bothers me, he runs hard, but he gets caught up in arm tackles a lot inside the hole sometimes, where a guy gets a hand on him, he just goes down.
Sometimes I watched him try to go outside when I was like, just run up the gut, bro.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Chuba Hubbard, and that's what scares me because Chuba Hubbard, we talked about, we didn't love him coming out, and he's just been a really good pro.
Yeah.
Like people were like, he's a first rounder, then we're like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
And then he didn't go in the first round. Then we're like, oh crap, he's really good. So that's what's he's again a round 3 to 4 guy to me.
I see a little bit of Zach Moss in him. And that's why I think Indy will be a good fit for him.
That'd be good.
As a second guy to Jonathan Taylor. They need it. They need a guy like him. And I have him as a late 3rd round pick. And after that,
do we have the 11 through 15 graphic?
I do.
Because we should put that up real quick just to show you guys who we had for the honorable mentions.
I got you.
Well, when we're done doing that, I do want to talk about the guys we had after, who I just want to say are not good or not good people, like not good players.
Mm-hmm.
They might be great people. I don't know. So who do you have? Let's hear.
So my 11 through 15, Devin Neal, RJ Harvey, Dylan Sampson, Jordan James, and Jarquez Hunter,
Yeah.
who I didn't really like. That's where the drop-off is. That whole tier list right there, 11 through 14, all the same, interchangeable. Love them. Jarquez Hunter. These are all day 3 guys. Jarquez Hunter, Donovan Edwards, Taj Brooks,
Raheem Sanders, Ollie Gordon. Oh my God.
They're solid.
People told me Ollie Gordon was going to be this guy. And here, I fell into it because, again, me and you were not like exactly in. Donovan Edwards, I thought was like a 1st round pick because he was on the cover of NCAA football. I was like, oh, this guy must be nice.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's just he's fast, I guess.
Right.
Like, again, like you said, 11 to 14, I'm all cool. I like them all.
Mm-hmm.
15 on, I'm like, I didn't see it.
Right.
I don't see it.
The one guy, if I had to pick anyone to be something from my 15 to 19 range, it's probably Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech.
I could say maybe I could see Ollie Gordon being a power back. But like, there's no like upside where I'm like, oh, Ollie Gordon's gonna go for 1,400 this year. Like, no, you're a role player.
But running backs are stacked. They are absolutely.
This is the longest video we've had, I think, man.
Yeah, this one was gonna be long. It's probably gonna be an hour 20 minutes. We appreciate you guys rocking with us, though, man. Your fantasy football players out there, be aware because the running backs in the league right now that are second fiddles and like 3rd down running backs, their jobs are on the line. Because these guys are going to come in, they're going to dominate. And there's going to be a lot of guys who go undrafted, like I said, 7th round, that we didn't necessarily scout, and you're gonna know their name by October.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be wrong about one of these guys. I mean, every year we're wrong, but I agree with what Juan said. I echo the sentiment. We appreciate you guys. We're here, Max and Juan from MJC Sports, doing the Max and Juan cast in Max's basement. Anything else, Juan?
I think that's it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like this video. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. What's your guys' rankings? All right, if you guys disagree, put your rankings down then.
Yeah,
right? Show your work. Okay, we spent hours watching this film. This is what we think.
Many hours.
And sorry to break it to you guys, but this is why, me personally, I love draft season, because no one knows.
Let me ask you one question before we go. Who was the toughest eval you had
so far?
No, on the running backs.
On the running backs, definitely Kaleb Johnson.
I watched him and Dylan Sampson a lot. I was like, what am I got
Kaleb Johnson I watched 3 times.
I had him go from like 7 to 4 to, and then I was like, he's just got it 5.
Kaleb Johnson, I had him as a day 3 guy at one point, and I had to rewatch the. I called Max even after I did 2 of them. I said, Max, what do you like? What's your gauge on him? So that's the kind of stuff that we have to do. We have to go through the film and really watch it, take it with context, and it's fun to do. It's really fun to do, man, and it's fun to see our outcomes of this.
I know.
3 years
hire
later,
us, please.
3 years later,
I was so proud of Kyron. That's like one of my biggest hits.
That was your hit.
I got some fumbles though.
I love my Kenneth Walker pick.
Trash. He's an underachiever. But let's end it.
Okay, let's end it. See you guys April 24th live for the draft. Until then, we out. Peace.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold, both clean. Machines, not on my team. This organic, we don't buy.